Before you book your next trip, you absolutely need to hear the dark truths about the cruise lines. These are the real secrets even seasoned cruisers never thought about. Behind the tropical drinks, sparkling shows, and those Instagram-worthy sunsets lies a cruise industry you were never meant to fully understand. From ignored medical emergencies to crew exploitation, jurisdictional loopholes, and real passengers left sick and stranded in foreign ports, there's a hidden side. Cruise lines spend millions to keep quiet. But today, I'm pulling back the curtain, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to protect yourself, what red flags to watch for, and how to cruise smarter than 90% of passengers on board. I'm your cruise pro, and I'll show you the dark sides of cruise lines, what they don't want you to know. Stick with me, because the truth isn't just shocking, it could change your perspective about cruising. Dark side number 1. Environmental impact and waste management. The first dark side is the significant environmental impact and waste management challenges of cruise ships. These floating cities generate massive amounts of waste, sewage, gray water, solid waste, and even hazardous materials. Some cruise lines have been caught dumping oily bilge water or raw sewage in international waters, where environmental enforcement is lax. Even lines with green awards have faced fines or lawsuits. While many lines are improving, historical practices and current regulations in some areas mean that not all waste is disposed of in the most environmentally friendly way, sometimes contributing to ocean pollution. As a frequent cruiser, I've become more aware of this. While ships are getting greener, the sheer volume of waste is immense. You might see recycling bins, but understanding the full life cycle of waste on a ship is complex. My personal approach is to minimize my own footprint on board. I bring a reusable water bottle, avoid excessive single-use plastics, and try to be conscious of my consumption. It's a small step, but it helps. Dark side number 2. Sick passengers left behind in foreign ports. The arguably most stark, dark side is the reality of sick passengers being left behind in foreign ports. If a passenger develops a serious illness or injury that requires hospitalization and the ship must maintain its schedule, that passenger and their traveling companions will be disembarked and left to manage their medical care, accommodation, and eventual return home in a foreign country, often with language barriers and without direct cruise line assistance. This is a fear I carry for myself and my loved ones, which is why travel insurance is crucial, specifically covering trip interruption and medical emergencies abroad. Always carry a copy of your passport, medical insurance details, and emergency contacts. Be aware that the ship's priority is its schedule, not individual passengers' medical emergencies once they are offloaded. It's a harsh truth, but one every savvy cruiser should be aware of. Dark side number 3, the prison feeling. This is more psychological, but for some, particularly the crew, there's a dark side of a prison feeling due to the confined environment and strict rules. For guests, especially on long itineraries or without frequent port calls, the ship can sometimes feel claustrophobic. Crew, however, often cannot leave the ship in certain ports and are under strict curfews, leading to mental health challenges and isolation for some. As a passenger, I mitigate this by actively exploring every deck, finding quiet spots, and planning my days to avoid feeling cooped up. For the crew, I acknowledge their limited freedom. It reinforces my belief in showing them extra kindness and appreciation, understanding that their home is also their workplace, and they often have very little personal space or time ashore. Dark side number 4, crew exploitation and poor working conditions. This is a tough one to talk about, potential crew exploitation and poor working conditions. Many crew members come from developing nations, working incredibly long hours, often 10 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, for months on end, for relatively low pay, sometimes below minimum wage standards of their flag state. Their contracts are often designed to favor the cruise line, with limited rights compared to land-based jobs. I've had many candid conversations with crew members over the years. They are the backbone of your cruise, working tirelessly. When I see them, I always try to be extra polite, patient, and show genuine appreciation. Tipping a little extra directly to individual crew members who provide exceptional service, beyond the auto gratuities, is my way of acknowledging their incredibly hard work. It's a small gesture, but it can make a real difference in their day and, frankly, their livelihood. Dark side number 5. Jurisdictional loopholes and passenger rights. Cruise lines often operate in a complex web of jurisdictional loopholes, which can impact passenger rights. Ships are typically registered in flag of convenience countries like Panama or Bahamas, with less stringent labor or legal regulations than your home country. This means if something goes wrong, an injury, an incident, or a dispute, your legal recourse can be incredibly complicated, often requiring you to litigate in a foreign country chosen by the cruise line, not necessarily your own. This is why I always stress the importance of comprehensive travel insurance, even for minor incidents. I've also learned to read the fine print of the cruise contract. It's dense, but it's where these jurisdictional clauses are laid out. Understanding that you're operating under different legal frameworks at sea is crucial. Don't assume your home country's laws apply directly once you leave port. Dark side number 6. Norovirus and other outbreaks. The public health dark side is the persistent threat of norovirus and other outbreaks on board. While cruise lines implement strict hygiene protocols, the confined environment and rapid turnover of thousands of passengers make ships susceptible to rapid spread of gastrointestinal illnesses. Even with best efforts, outbreaks do occur, leading to quarantines and impacting vacation enjoyment. My strategy here is relentless personal hygiene. I wash my hands constantly, before and after every meal, after touching handrails, after using the restroom. I use hand sanitizer stations religiously. If I see anyone looking ill, I give them a wide berth. And if I do feel unwell, I immediately self-isolate and contact the medical center, as I know that's the responsible thing to do for everyone's health. Dark side number 7. Medical care on board. While ships have medical facilities, the reality of medical care on board is a significant dark side. Ship doctors and nurses are generally competent, but they are often not subject to the same licensing or oversight as land-based medical professionals in your home country. The facilities are limited, and for serious conditions, you'll likely need an expensive emergency evacuation, which is entirely at your cost if you're not insured. I never travel without robust travel medical insurance that specifically covers cruise travel and emergency evacuation. I also bring a well-stocked personal medical kit with common remedies. I've seen firsthand how quickly a routine ailment can turn into a serious expense if you need advanced care or an emergency transfer. Don't rely solely on the ship's infirmary for anything beyond basic needs. Dark side number 8. Hidden pricing and fee structures. This is a deeper issue than just the final bill, a general lack of transparency in pricing and fee structures. The initial advertised fare often hides mandatory gratuities, port taxes, administrative fees, fuel surcharges, which can be added or removed dynamically, and even fluctuating base fares. It makes true cost comparison incredibly difficult and can feel deceptive to the average consumer. This is why I always tell people to insist on seeing the total price that includes all mandatory fees before booking, and always ask about potential surcharges, even if they aren't active at the time of booking. Being an informed consumer means cutting through the marketing fluff to understand the true bottom line of your cruise. Dark side number 9. Accessibility gaps. While cruise lines strive for accessibility, there are still significant accessibility gaps for passengers with disabilities. Despite regulations, cabins might still be difficult to maneuver, public restrooms can be challenging, and especially in older ships or specific ports, shore excursions might not be truly accessible, limiting freedom and enjoyment for some travelers. This is a subtle but impactful exclusion for many. If you or a travel companion has accessibility needs, research deeply. Don't just rely on general statements. Call the cruise line's dedicated accessibility desk, check specialized forums, and look for specific reviews about the ship and ports you're interested in. I also recommend having a detailed conversation with your travel agent to ensure your specific needs can be met, both on board and ashore. Dark side number 10. Lack of transparency in emergencies. A significant dark side is the lack of transparency during incidents or emergencies. In situations like power outages, medical emergencies, or security incidents, cruise lines often provide minimal information to passengers, citing privacy or operational reasons. This can lead to anxiety, confusion, and a feeling of being left in the dark during a critical time when clear communication is paramount. While you can't force transparency, you can be prepared. I always ensure my phone is charged, I know where my muster station is, refer back to the muster drill, and I have a small bag packed with essentials in case of emergency. During an incident, I rely on official announcements, but also keep an eye on trusted news sources once I have Wi-Fi access. Stay calm, follow crew instructions, and be prepared to advocate for information if necessary, but don't panic. Dark side number 11. Sick bay stigma and fear of reporting. There's a subtle but dangerous dark side around the sick bay stigma and passengers' fear of reporting illness. Some passengers hesitate to report feeling unwell due to fear of isolation, quarantine, or missing out on activities. This hesitation can lead to delayed treatment and, far more dangerously, facilitates the rapid spread of illness to others on the ship, turning a minor issue into a widespread outbreak. My motto is, if you feel sick, report it immediately. It's not just about you. It's about containing potential outbreaks and protecting everyone's health. Cruise lines want to keep everyone healthy. They'll often provide free medical consultations for specific symptoms and deliver food to your cabin if you're quarantined. Being proactive protects the health of the entire ship, including yourself. Dark side number 12. Alcohol overservice and liability loopholes. This is a concerning dark side. Alcohol overservice and potential liability loopholes. While rare, there are instances where passengers may be overserved alcohol, leading to safety risks, altercations, or medical incidents. The cruise line's liability can be complex due to the flag of convenience jurisdiction, potentially leaving the passenger vulnerable in case of an incident involving intoxication. Always drink responsibly, even on vacation. I keep track of my own consumption and know my limits. If I see someone clearly overserved, I'll discreetly alert a crew member. Remember, just because it's available doesn't mean it's without consequence, and your safety is ultimately your own responsibility, regardless of the ship's policies. Dark side number 13. Security staffing gaps and underreported crime. A more unsettling dark side is the concern regarding security staffing gaps and potentially underreported crime. Critics argue that security staffing levels may not always be adequate for the number of passengers on board, and that certain incidents, including assaults or thefts, may be underreported or handled internally to protect the cruise line's reputation, rather than involving external law enforcement. While the vast majority of cruises are safe, personal vigilance is key. I always lock my cabin door, use the in-cabin safe for valuables, and avoid walking alone in secluded areas late at night. If I ever witness something concerning or experience an incident, I would immediately report it to ship security and document everything, including names and times. Knowledge is your best defense. Dark side number 14. Emergency evacuation delays in remote locations. This is a truly chilling dark side. The potential for emergency evacuation delays in remote locations. If a passenger experiences a severe medical emergency far from land, the time it takes for a helicopter or rescue vessel to reach the ship and transport them to a proper medical facility can be agonizingly long. The vastness of the ocean means immediate, high-level care isn't always available. This point strongly reinforces why comprehensive travel insurance with strong emergency evacuation coverage is non-negotiable. I specifically check the limits for medical evacuation. Understanding that immediate, top-tier medical care is not always a given in the middle of the ocean helps you prepare for the absolute worst-case scenario. Dark side number 15. Upselling and over-commercialization. You've likely experienced this. The relentless upselling and over-commercialization on board. While cruises are all-inclusive for basic amenities, you're constantly bombarded with opportunities to spend more. Specialty restaurants, expensive drink packages, spa treatments, art auctions, casino promotions, shore excursions, premium Wi-Fi, fitness classes, even bingo. This constant push can diminish the feeling of a relaxing, budget-friendly vacation. This is where your cruise pro skills really come in handy. I treat it like navigating a theme park. I plan my spending before I go, and I stick to it. I research what's included and enjoy those free amenities fully. I politely decline sales pitches. Remember, you're on your vacation, not a spending spree for the cruise line. It's about being firm but polite. So there you have it, the dark sides of cruise lines, what they don't want you to know. It's a lot to take in, but remember, being informed doesn't diminish the joy of cruising. It simply empowers you to make smarter choices, appreciate the crew, and navigate the industry with a clear understanding of its complexities. A truly savvy cruiser knows both the magic and the realities. What's your take on these hidden truths? Hit like if you found this insightful, and subscribe to Cruise Pro for more honest advice and essential strategies to make every voyage your best one. What other dark sides have you experienced or heard about? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, take care and sail smart.